I'm Rhiannon Tlucke.
And I'm Dan Verssen.
And this is our skeleton friend. We needed some help in the office today, so here he is.
Part of our skeleton crew.
So when did you start actually designing games?
I started in high school, which is in the early 80s. Started by modifying other people's games like Dungeons and Dragons, which my friends hated, by the way. And that led to our very first game design, Modern Naval Battles.
When did that come out?
That was designed in 1988, came out in 1989 by Worldwide Wargames.
And then you started independent contracting from then on until 2008?
Right, we did independent contracting for, 10 years or so. I guess more like 20 years now that I think about it, wow. We designed for Alderac Entertainment Group, GMT, Avalon Hill, Decision Games. We had some Star Wars characters go through West End at the time. And we just designed for everyone that we could and had a lot of fun working with all those companies.
So when did it become a family business?
In about 2008, my wife Holly, she's the developer of the games, I'm the designer. She had the idea that since we'd done the design and development work, we'd work with printers, work with artists, that we should form our own company. And so we did then in 2008, and our first game was Field Commander Rommel.
So from my understanding, you guys actually did this out of your condo, right? Tell me more about that.
We were living in Glendora at the time in a 1,200 square foot condo with our 2 children. Our very first print runs that we got for those first couple of years, we'd actually take the delivery in the driveway, pallet jack them into the garage. We didn't even have a pallet jack back then, now that I think about it. So we'd physically unload each pallet, move the boxes in because each pallet weighs thousands of pounds. And we eventually filled up the garage. Those games then eventually spilled out into the bedrooms of the condo.
So how have you expanded over these last few years?
Once the bedrooms were full, the dining room was full, we rented a 300 square foot self-storage unit over in an adjoining city. And at first, it only filled up like half of it. And then within a few months, we had filled that up, so we knew that we were gonna have to go to a different place.
And how did that continue on?
After that, we rented a 1,000 square foot warehouse in yet a different city. Again, moved into games, filled up a partial amount of it. Within 6 months, that place was full, so we were looking around for yet another warehouse. And that's what led us to this warehouse.
So, from my understanding, you actually had this warehouse and you got it and you thought, you are never gonna fill it up. It's gonna stay half full.
True.
What happened then? You had to knock down a wall, right?
We did. The current warehouse is 2,200 square feet. We moved into games. It filled up literally like a quarter of this warehouse. And we thought, we are done. We will never need to expand. And then Warfighter became very, very popular. Other games came in. We filled up this warehouse. We started looking around for other warehouses. And as you mentioned, the warehouse next door to us opened up. We talked with the property owners. They cut a big hole through the wall, so now we have a wonderful archway to move pallets back and forth. We're now up to 3,800 square feet, and honestly, we're kind of budging at the seams at this point.
So what are your future plans for DVG?
I'm really looking forward to moving into fantasy, science fiction, maintaining our strategy gaming lines, and expanding the company. I like designing and playing fun games. And so ultimately, for me, I really enjoy the subject of a game. The gameplay is also very important. So as a result, I try to make every game fun, engaging, and tell a story. Rather than designing it like from a game point of view, I think of it as, am I designing a TV show or a movie so it has a story? So that way when people are done playing the game, they can tell their friends about all the exciting parts and the drama and the victories and the defeats. Because overall, I think the game should tell a story, not just be a bunch of mechanics linked together.
The connection of a game is so important. Well, I've really enjoyed our time together today. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Keep playing games.
And subscribe below. Bye!
Bye!